The last area for trials is the Rocky Bay TV area. This is an area we look into the urbanized area this year, where we have one of several really, really well-managed and intense community rodent control groups. Extremely organized. It's very well-managed, the community project. That means the rats in this area have a different experience with bait stations and have a different experience with bait than in other areas where no one is working or no one is baiting. So what we do there is we want to find out a little bit more about the behavior of rats around the bait stations. That's one thing I have looked into the last 7 years here in New Zealand, and you can get a lot of information out of that is valuable for control and eradication. We will have trail cameras pointing on bait stations and then observe the behavior. What does the rat do? How often do the rats come? How often do they go inside the bait station? And this will give us valuable information. The questions that we will answer with this is, does it differ between the different designs? Because, of course, the community group has a different design to what Te Korowai uses. Does the design make a difference? Another thing is, the bait stations are really settled in very well in the environment. They have been there for years. They're part of the natural environment for the rats. They know them. The devices that Te Korowai puts in are relatively new. They still get a time to settle in, but they're relatively new compared to the Ratbuster bait stations. Thank you very much to Rocky Bay Ratbusters for cooperating with us here. This is very important. So does it change the behavior when you have these bait stations that have been used for years and the bait stations that are relatively new? The next thing is the community group puts bait out in we use an eradication setting servicing of the bait stations. That means every week we make sure that the bait stations are full of really fresh bait and new bait. There may be a difference in attractiveness of the bait, so we will also look if that influences the behavior. And then the change over time. We expect that at the beginning there will be a bit more interaction, more rats entering the bait station, but what happens over time? In a perfect world, you don't see rats anymore coming to the bait station, then you know it has worked quite well. In a not so perfect world, you see the rats still coming, but not going into the bait stations anymore. And that would be a cause that, or a reason that could cause the failure of eradication, not getting the last ones. And so that's a very behavioral research in Rocky Bay.